I'm Dr. Mark Sue, and welcome to the Functional Medicine Reality Podcast. Join me and our community weekly as we bring you unfiltered health from inflammation to longevity. Real stories, real people, real solutions. Experience real-life health changes from both patients and practitioners, and learn how to turn cutting-edge information into real results in your own life so you can feel better, live longer, live healthier, and be confident and clear in your healthcare choices. Let's get real and get results. Welcome, friends. This is the Functional Medicine Reality Podcast. I'm Dr. Mark Sue. We have a special episode here today. We're here, as always, to create clarity and to help you live your best life. And so today, I want to introduce a special individual. Her name is Mary Jo Anderson. She is going to be a recurring co-host on episodes going forward. So for those of you who don't know her yet, you'll get to know her over time. And if you are already connected with Mary Jo through various numbers of possibilities, if you know her locally or you're connected to her online, you're going to meet a different Mary Jo who you've never met before. She's had, as some people know, a really meaningful journey and ongoing life lesson for the last 7 years with her health. And she's not been able to process or ready to share that until now. And there's a reason that we're here and in this moment, and we'll get into that shortly. So if you are a person who has wrestled with chronic Lyme disease, you've wondered if you may have chronic Lyme disease, you're going to resonate with the story. You're going to learn a lot here, and you're going to hear her story, and I think it's going to shed some real light for you. If you're an individual who has felt dismissed, devalued, disbelieved, marginalized by the mainstream medical society, the medical community, and not as a judgment, it's just the way the system is, you're also going to resonate with this, no matter what your symptoms or condition or diagnosis or diagnoses may actually be. So without further ado, this is a sentinel moment, I think, for both of us, certainly for me, and I know for you. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. And for some people, maybe in your shoe, to have the courage to step out into this space, but let's just settle in a little bit. All right. You and I have only started to more get to know each other for the first time in maybe the last 4 months or so. We have kids who are in the same friend group, but we have not actually worked together professionally in the brick and mortar office, and we don't know each other well socially, even though we've had touch points and some connections. But just as a starting point, can you maybe I know a lot of people know you, but especially for those who don't know you or people who may only feel like they only know certain sides of you, who's Mary Jo Anderson just as a person as a whole? How relatable are you? Are you a normal person, or do you walk on water? Does the Red Sea part for you? Were you raised with silver spoons, or did you come from slum background? Who are you, and how can people relate with you?
Good morning, Mark. That's a loaded question.
There you go.
But I appreciate it. No, I do not walk on water. We know who does, though. I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to be here and tell my story for the first time. It's a massive can of worms that I'm excited to share. I'm excited to give purpose to the last 7 years of my life that has been ongoing suffering. And I'm excited to share a little bit more about some successes in my health in the last few years. But thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be on this podcast with you and sit here with you, and getting to know you over the last few months has been a joy, and being here today is just a full circle moment for me. So I really appreciate it. And
synergistic, symbiotic project here. Yes. This is not one way.
Yes. But for those of you who don't know me, and I'll share a little bit about myself. I'm a mom. I have 3 kids, 18, 15, and 8 years old. They're the joy of my life. I have a community of family and friends locally that I'm very blessed to have. I have a community online that I've been building and creating over the last 7 years on Instagram.
Organically, unintentionally, to my understanding.
Unintentionally. It's been one of the biggest blessings of my life. It's my creative outlet, being on Instagram and connecting to so many people. But throughout that journey in the last 7 years, I have a story that I have not shared with a lot of people. Just my close-knit family and friends have known what I've gone through.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point now where I am not on the other side of healing, but I'm awoken to a lot of what I've gone through. And I'm excited to share a little bit more about that process in order to try to help someone else, maybe with their journey.
Yeah. And so that's a great quick segue context that this conversation was, from my perspective, was rather spontaneous, organic. I don't remember how it started. I may have reached out to you, but I don't remember how it happened 4 months ago. And basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's one of these magic moments to me anyway in life where just timing, and you're exploring the space of wanting to fulfill a calling, to be of more service to humanity, to be an advocate for others who are suffering, you're saying. And so that really is the genesis of this initiation, what we're doing right now. Fair to say?
Very fair to say.
And then somewhere recently, maybe a month ago or so, you're telling me a story that sort of highlights or illustrates that heart mission that you have. So can you review for us again, what happened in that moment? What did you experience when you were in Nantucket with your family in meeting that couple in the gift shop?
So for the last, I'd say 2 or 3 years, I do feel like God has been placing people in my path to have the conversation with them about health, about wellness, about my journey with suffering. It's been very specific how it happens. I don't know if the word would be serendipitous, but it's very ironic how it all happens. Anyways, just a few weeks ago, or about a month or so ago now, I was in a gift shop in Nantucket with our family, and I had bumped into a couple that I had seen or only really met one other time about 10 years ago, and crossed paths with them in this gift shop, and big hugs, and had
Very unlike you.
very unlike me, yeah, big hugs. And immediately she had asked, like, how are you doing? How are the kids? And I went on to explain where the kids are at in life. And I had been sick for the last 7 years, and she didn't know that. So I dove right in pretty quickly, but kept it on the surface because I don't want to overwhelm people with this big story about what I've gone through. So I just dabbled in sharing that I'd been sick for the last 7 years. I'm finally on the other side of feeling well. And
Is that spontaneous that
Yeah.
because you haven't seen these people in 10 years.
Yeah.
It just came out.
It poured right out.
Huh.
It felt very organic to share, felt safe sharing with this couple. And immediately when I cracked open a little bit about what was going on in my life, and it was basically an invitation for them to open up to me. So in that conversation, it quickly turned to them sharing with me that her husband, who was standing right next to her, had been very sick, and they didn't know what was wrong with him.
Could you tell looking at him?
I could tell looking at him.
Okay.
Yeah, I could tell that he was not feeling well. And we got into a quick conversation where they shared about what was going on with him, some initial symptoms, some dead end roads that they had been in with some doctors that they had been meeting with. And out of his pocket in the conversation, he drew a little tissue, a little napkin. And I don't even think he knew that I was noticing that's what he was doing, but he pulled out a little napkin. In the napkin was quite a few pills of Advil and some what he referred to as gabapentin, which was a drug that I was prescribed when I was really sick and not diagnosed. And he had it crumpled up in a napkin in his pocket for quick, easy access when he's not feeling good. So anyways, that triggered me immediately when I saw him do that, because that is something that I did for many years that I was sick. I kept my Advil and I kept my gabapentin in my pocket, and I just was completely dosing every 6 to 8 hours to kill the pain that I was in. So anyways, that conversation quickly led to my suggestion of a few things. It was almost divine intervention that God crossed our paths in that moment. God was encouraging me to share what I had experienced, and to some degree, which then encouraged them to share their experience. And then I immediately just offered some suggestions. And they were incredibly appreciative of it. They pulled out their notepad, they wrote down a couple things, your name specifically, and just some panel testing, some things that I had told them that I did that might be of a resource for them. So it was very divine how that interaction happened, and it was encouraging to me. And that wasn't the first time I've been in conversations like that, but it was definitely encouragement to me to be able to speak about what I've gone through that I've been wanting to do for a very long time now. It was almost like a warm up for me and an encouragement, like, you can share your story and you can help people. And I'm going to give you the opportunities to do that. So that was just about a month ago. And so we're sitting here today, and I feel very excited again to have this opportunity to share a little bit about my story in hopes that it really does help someone else.
Yeah, I'm hearing you saying in that moment, you're feeling affirmed. You said, I hear fueled, perhaps. They're feeling, how did you perceive? They're thankful.
I did feel like in our conversation that some of the language that I was using, functional medicine, a full tick panel test, like there's some prescriptions that helped me through my journey, just different modalities that worked for me.
Sure.
I was assuming or under the understanding that they had never heard any of that language before.
And did you get that sense that was true?
Or? I did get that sense. Yeah. It seemed like they had never heard any of the things that I was suggesting, which 5 years prior was where I was at.
I was just getting ready to say,
I had never heard anything about functional medicine, or that there was access to more broad testing for what I was experiencing, which were an array of symptoms that weren't giving me a proper diagnosis.
So my experience for folks in that shoe, their shoe a month ago or whatever it was, your shoe 5 years ago, it's 5 years ago, it's a little bit of an eyes wide open. It's also hope.
It's definitely an exploratory phase, because if you've been through a lot and you've seen a lot of doctors and you have a lot of different symptoms, that's a place of like really feeling very discouraged. You're hearing a lot of things. You're given maybe a misdiagnosis or treatment that's not working.
Yeah.
And you're constantly, if you're resilient, which you become resilient really quickly, you're seeking answers constantly. Hopefully that's what you're doing. That's where I was at, is that I was just consistently seeking answers and new information in order to find answers to feel better.
Yeah. So let's jump into that.
Yeah.
You're summarizing an awareness that they were going through that on some level in recent months or half year, who knows what. But I surmise from you're reliving, or it's bringing back memories of what you went through when you were in their shoe 5 years ago, right? So what was that experience like for you?
I think for the most part,
like what happened when life came crashing down, 7 years ago?
7 years ago, the realization of not feeling well is something that I always refer back to. Not feeling well. 7 years ago, I started not feeling well. And what does that mean? What does that look like?
What was the backdrop before that?
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of patients who I say, how long have you had symptoms? Oh, 3 months. But then if I ask more, no, it's actually been going on for maybe 2 years before that, just so mild, right? Were you feeling for some time, or no, things were good? What was life like before 7 years?
So life before not feeling well was very active. 3 kids. We had just bought a second home. I was online in my Instagram community, building that out. Just very busy. I was teaching a lot of fitness classes. I was working part-time as a fitness instructor. I played college basketball. So it's like I've always been this very active person. So for me, physical activity was just in our family. It was in our lifestyle. It's just who I am.
Yeah.
And to not be feeling well was something I actually had never experienced.
Okay.
I always felt very well.
Okay.
I always felt very strong and healthy and on top of the world, lots of energy, very outgoing, vibrant person, now with a big family and a big life. So for me, feeling well was, I felt like I was at the top of a mountain. So to start not feeling well 7 years ago, again, I was teaching a lot of fitness classes. In my initial not feeling well, I always attributed to taking or teaching too many fitness classes.
Sure.
So that sore feeling that you get when you take a really hardcore fitness class, a strength training class, and you come home and you're, oh, my back is sore, my arms are sore. That just attributes that you maybe worked a muscle group in a different kind of way. Sure. It was a good thing. So 7 years ago, I always thought that like my sore neck, my back hurting at 35 years old, maybe it's just age. Maybe it's just I'm taking too many fitness classes or teaching too much or picking up the kids the wrong way. I always attributed these symptoms to all of those things. Yet when I started to really pay attention,
more than reasonable,
but to start paying attention and know my body, I started realizing that these weren't those things. The neck pain was severe neck pain, which became even more severe as days and months and years went on.
Yeah.
Debilitating pain. I always, when I do share the story, I always say at 37 years old, after 2 years of being sick, when I would get up out of bed in the morning, I couldn't even stand up straight.
Yeah.
37 years old, I couldn't straighten my spine or bring my shoulders back. I couldn't turn my neck without incredible pain.
Yeah.
And so I realized that this was, and I had been going to the doctors. I had been doing my annual visits and with my primary care, my massage, I was doing massage, body work, all the modalities to try to feel better. But I quickly realized that these symptoms that I was having were getting stronger and more symptoms were coming.
Yeah.
And as those more symptoms came, I started really advocating for myself in my doctor's office and saying these symptoms I know are not normal. This is not age. This is not working out too much. This maybe is a little bit of busy lifestyle. Yes, I get that. But these symptoms, and as many symptoms as there were, which were many,
There were many other ones.
Yeah. When I revert back to my symptoms, I'm like, God, there must have been 50 symptoms at one time. And one of the major symptoms that really drew the line in the sand was neurological.
Okay. I was going to say, what crossed your mind as the next three?
Yeah.
Besides the aches and pains.
The aches and pains were the first thing. And then the second and third thing were I couldn't close my hands. My hands were becoming very stiff, neurological pain running up the side of my head into what felt like my entire brain, eye twitching that was nonstop, 24 hours a day, disorientation while I was driving, disorientation all the time.
You're confused, or you mean like visual?
Visual disorientation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Depth perception or blurriness or
all of it.
Oh,
yeah. Yep.
That's scary.
Yeah, very scary. Yeah, while driving with kids. Yep. There was one point where, and we'll get into this in a minute, I'm sure, but where I went to Bryce, my husband, and said, I don't feel safe driving the kids. I was that disoriented.
Yeah.
And this was before I was diagnosed with Lyme.
Sure.
So these symptoms were coming. They were coming on stronger every day, every month. I was going to the doctors, just asking for more testing, more help. And it was dead end after dead end after dead end. The only support that I got from that initial doctor was antidepressants and painkillers without a proper diagnosis, which I wasn't willing to take either one of those. So that didn't end well.
Did those help at all?
I didn't end up taking
Oh,
those
didn't
because I
you?
never
Okay,
felt
got it.
comfortable taking either one of those. I
Yeah.
never even felt comfortable taking Advil in my entire life. I had never relied on any type of medication to feel. So
You were that.
I was that
Yeah.
one. Yeah. And so being prescribed antidepressants and painkillers
Yeah.
without a proper diagnosis or a fibromyalgia, which was the blanket diagnosis for what I was experiencing, I wasn't willing to accept that.
So why the antidepressants? What was your experience of why you were offered that?
Yeah, my doctor, who I had had for many years, through all three of my children,
Knows you.
knows me, had suggested that I was experiencing severe depression.
Okay.
And I was.
Okay.
I wasn't willing to take the medication because I kept saying to her, I'm feeling depressed because I feel so awful physically. And I've been going through this for 2 years now.
So we call that secondary
Yes.
depression, right?
Yes.
Which is still legit.
Yes.
But so do you think it was offered to you because, hey, even if it's primary or secondary, this will help? Okay.
I wasn't willing to take it
Sure.
because I was wanting to just get to the root of
Sure.
something else.
What makes you feel any better? So I think I told you before, my dad used to research for Eli Lilly,
Okay.
Big Pharma.
Yeah.
When he was offered Prozac, one of his better friends was one of the co-owners of Prozac.
Okay.
And he was offered that years and years ago. And he was like, yeah, no thanks. Hey, it's okay. You're not alone.
Thank you. So yeah, that was 2 or 3 years into not feeling well.
Yeah.
I was offered on a regular basis. And I was
things just kept getting worse.
Yeah, things kept getting worse. I was going to the doctor at that point by year 2 and 3 every month and demanding a little bit more attention, a little bit more testing. And by year 3,
It's a lot of work.
Not
just time, but did you feel like you were just kind of being a broken record each month? Or did you feel like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling hurt and there's things that we're moving in different directions? Or, every month, it's kind of like a kid nagging at their parent.
That's exactly
what kind of responses were you getting?
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt for 3 years. That I was a nagging patient, demanding more answers, saying I was having the same symptoms, more symptoms as it was getting worse, and only being offered this one diagnosis and these 2 treatments and not accepting that. And by year 3 was when I walked out of that doctor's office for the last time and alternative medicines and modalities.
And so what took you to the breaking? Why did you hit that breaking, that rock bottom?
So the last visit with this particular doctor, I had asked my sister, who I'm very close with. She's a year older than me. She's by my side my entire life. I had asked her to come with me. She had firsthand witnessed how sick I was getting.
Yeah.
But I had never really had my husband or my sister come to the doctor with me. It was like, I can handle this. I can do this myself.
Yeah.
And it was more of like a real big cry for help where I went to her and I said, I need you to come with me. I need you to come with me and sit with me in the doctor's office and hear what they're saying to me and just be supportive of me because I really feel like I'm breaking at this point.
No particular ask or agenda, just support.
Just support.
Okay.
I had previous to that appointment had told my sister that because I had felt like I was dying and I was.
Yeah.
So I had sat with her prior to that appointment and just really mapped out, if I am dying, if I am as sick as I feel, can you please just take care of the kids?
Wow.
And do this, that, and the other thing. Talking this really hard conversation with her because that's where I was at. I felt that sick. I felt like I was dying. I felt like I had to go to my sister and just make sure that if anything was happening that I thought was happening, that she would pick up the pieces. And so she came with me to the doctor's, which was probably the following week. And she sat next to me. She heard me say the same things that I had been saying for quite a few years. And the doctor turned to me and said, I don't know what you want me to do. I have people in other rooms waiting for me. If you're not going to take the antidepressants, if you're not going to take the painkillers, there's not much else I can do for you. And really was blunt in how she said it.
Yeah.
Cold. She was frustrated. I was frustrated. I don't hold anything against her. I understand it was a dead end for both. I picked up my bag, my purse, and I walked out of the office and my sister followed me. And she knew right then and there that this was not it.
Yeah.
This was not it.
Yeah. It's like you're really fortunate to have
that support.
Anybody, whether a friend or family member, be in your life like that.
I think for the most part, because I think a lot of moms might do this, for a lot of people in general, we can handle it ourselves. We don't want to ask for help. We can do it. We can get through it. We're resilient. We'll figure it out. This was something I could not figure out.
Yeah.
This disease was killing me and I could not figure it out.
Yeah.
And I had to ask for help. Luckily, I have a sister and a family and a lot of people that kind of knew what was going on. My sister came alongside me and helped me. And then there was quite a few people in the community that had suggested functional medicine. It was the first time I started really hearing it. Mark Sue in town. There was this conversation around your name and your practice, which was an alternative to what I was in. And I had heard it so many times to the point where it was like, okay, I'm at a breaking point. I'm at a turning point. I need to explore something new.
Yeah.
And that's when I called your office,
Oh.
which was in, I believe, 2020.
So as we said,
As the world was ending.
yeah, that's right. What a nice.
I thought I was dying and the world was ending.
Yeah.
You were my lifeline.
That must have been a little surreal.
Yeah.
The parallels there.
Yes.
So again, we're not here as a culmination of working together. We haven't worked together directly over the years. You've been working with one of our nurse practitioners, Mary, and who's already given consent to, it's okay to use my name, right? Why don't you share a little bit about what a review for me, even what was different? What was your experiences in those early days, or on the first intro, walking in the door into this functional medicine world? Did it seem, I don't know. I think you and I both know people who like, what is that? Trap voodoo? Is this like Eastern medicine? What is it? What I mean?
When the time is right, I'd love for you to explain functional medicine because I'm not sure I could articulate it perfectly. I know it's been my lifeline. I know I have an understanding of it. But at the time in 2020, after being sick for quite a few years, I had never really heard about functional medicine. Maybe I'd heard the term, but I had no idea what it was. My first call to your office.
But was your mindset open-minded, or was it like, it's foreign, so I'm not comfortable with it, or what was that like?
I'm an empath by nature, and I'm broken wide open all the time about it, everything. And in the situation that I was in, it was just me wanting to explore anything that would potentially be helpful. Functional medicine for me was something that I was broken wide open to. I think it was hokey or weird or foreign. Of course, I didn't know very much about it, but calling the office and getting an appointment within a week and going in and sitting with Mary and really pouring out exactly what I'd been through. I don't know if it was like a 2-hour plus intake.
Wow.
It was pretty long, and I am a storyteller. So I was like, if I'm going to do this, I need to tell you all of it. And I did. And she was one of the first people that I felt listened, seen by, truly seen in a very dire state of illness.
Yeah.
She created a very safe environment for me to share everything and offered some initial suggestions, obviously some initial testing. And within, I think, 48 hours, I was fully tested for everything. And within 7 days or 5 to 7 days, I was diagnosed Lyme and chronic or co-infections.
Yeah. And so at that time, did you ask for Lyme testing? Could you known about it, or how did that come? Was it her suggestion, or other people had suggested to you and you just brought up into the conversation?
Yeah, I think she had suggested it. And then I had said, I think I was tested for Lyme way back with my other doctor and it came back negative. So there was, and she had offered the suggestion that this was more of an extensive panel that we're going to do that was going to be able to pick up on many more things, which I had never heard that or understood that before, but that was the process. She was offering more testing for me. And I had an understanding to some degree what that would look like. And within a week, there was a diagnosis. I was back in the office and she was really walking me through a lot of information that was foreign to me, but I truly understood. It was an affirmation that I was really sick with a disease and some co-infections that were making it worse, and some levels with my vitamin D and all these other things that were depleting my entire system.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Mary said this, and I'd have to ask her because we haven't never actually gone back to that day, but I had said, I feel like I'm dying. And I don't know if she said these exact words, but she was like, your body is at bare minimums for survival right now. So I don't know if she said those exact words, but that's what I took from it, was that I felt so awful. The testing was showing all of these things that were at bare minimums, and disease and all these indicators for co-infections. And she affirmed me that, yeah, you're really sick.
Yeah.
And it was like, I can't believe someone just told me that I am really sick, because I had felt really sick.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of the testing you'd had done through the routine testing, like, you look pretty good, I'm guessing, which is like this constant paradox.
Yes. Yeah. My original testing prior to that was that everything was fine all the time.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah. A lot of people,
It's all in your head.
it creates a lot of mind games, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you're told that, sometimes you're telling yourself that.
I think we've talked about this prior to this conversation, but there was many times in all those years that I was questioning my own sanity. Was I making these up? Was my mind sick? Yeah, my mind was sick.
Yeah.
Lyme was attacking the mind, but I was questioning my own sanity.
Sure.
That's exactly for many years, which I'm not the smartest person in the whole world, but I was like, no, I know that these symptoms are something.
Yeah.
I know something's wrong. I'm a physical person. I can do anything. I'm on top of the world all the time with the movement and all these things. And this is something so different.
You mentioned, so, your sister came with you to that visit at that breaking point. Did you feel heard by her or other people in your life? Or how much did you feel supported and affirmed that, yeah, this is not normal. It's not just in your mind? Or how alone were you in that journey before that sort of diagnostic diagnostic point and redirect in your
So the two closest people in my life are my husband, obviously, and my sister. And they know everything about me. They've walked alongside me. I've walked alongside them. And to say that they were there, they've never left my side in this 7 years, this journey. But neither one of them had an understanding because I didn't even have an understanding of what was going on with me. Of course, I felt the love and the support, but we were all very confused on how I first fell ill, had no answers, and then continued to get sicker and sicker.
Yeah.
So nobody knew how to handle this situation. None of us, the three of us, had never been in anything like this before. So I share that because, of course, I felt loved and supported, especially by these two people in my life. But I also felt extremely alone and that this was a very personal journey. And now on the back end, it was almost like I was never alone. Something that I came to shortly after a diagnosis and feeling well was that I was never alone. I always felt like someone was with me and God was beside me the entire time. I felt him. I felt him saying to me consistently when I was sick and on the journey to healing, keep going, keep going. It's such a stupid, silly phrase, but it was like he was whispering it in my ear, keep going. And so I built up a lot of resilience. This has been a very personal journey for me. It's been my biggest life lesson. I didn't realize how resilient I am. But this entire journey has been my greatest lesson. My cross to bear, yes, but I'm also oddly very appreciative of all of it. No resentment towards people that didn't know what was going on with me. I wasn't really expressing or sharing it on this public level or asking for help.
Yeah, you're very fortunate.
Yeah.
And you've had people in your life to support you. You have I don't know, whether it's factory setting of your resilient sort of personality profile, attitude, or whatever. So a lot to be thankful for. But at the same time, it's easier to say that now in those darkest of dark moments, as you're talking about feeling like you're that alone. I can only imagine. I've heard variations of that kind of sentiment or story from a lot of patients over the years, but it's a different experience for everybody about how alone and how dark it is.
There's points through my story where not only did I think I wasn't going to make it, I literally did not think I was going to make it. There was points throughout those first years that my prayer every single night or a lot was for God to take me. I had suffered for so long. And I have shared this part of that story with a few people. It's a very dark place that I was in, but my prayer was for him to take me because I did not want to be in suffering anymore, physical and mental suffering, or please God, bring me to people that can help me find answers. That was my consistent prayer. And he would say, keep going. So that's what I did.
And did anybody else know you were that dark?
There's points I think in the journey too, where these type of things can break relationships, marriages.
Absolutely.
Bryce and I, you wouldn't mind me sharing this. It almost broke us. Yeah. Even on the back end of all of this and my healing journey now and having conversations with him, he's so empathic because at the time he didn't know how to help me. Yeah. He didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. And there was quite a few years where I was so sick and he's going at the same pace that we usually go at. And I'm not only lagging behind, I'm falling completely behind. And there was resentment, lots of fighting. There was a broken marriage and all of that. He didn't know how to support somebody that was very sick.
Sure.
So we went through quite a few years where it was really not good. But these things, death, loss of a family member, loss of a child, there's all these things in life that health crisis like this that can break families. They break people.
Absolutely.
They're really hard things.
Absolutely.
Like us as humans don't want to do hard things sometimes or don't know how to do something that's hard. So like this situation was really hard for Bryce. It's really hard for me, obviously, but it was really hard for him. It was hard for our marriage. And my sister Melissa, on the other hand, she's just everybody get on my back. I'll carry you guys. And she's wanting to fix everything, but this wasn't a really fixable thing that she could do. Yeah. So it was a learning lesson for all of us. On the back end of all this, not that I'm completely through it, but the fact that we are on the other side, we talk about these things on a regular basis because we're still working through a lot of it. It was a very traumatic time in our lives, and it still is this residue that lives within our lives. This is health crisis at its best. And I think a lot of families experience things. And if you haven't, most likely you will.
Yeah. No, it's, colleague and I who work in the space, we see it all the time. And not to minimize anybody's single individual experience, it's a common theme. You're definitely not anywhere alone in that story. And on multiple levels, it's sometimes just venting a frustration. It's supposed to be a safe place in the home to be yourself. Not putting on the bright, shiny face in public. There's the expectations piece, and then there's the financial piece. And who doesn't get crabby when they're not feeling well? As an understatement. Okay, crabby is an understatement. And then I'm thinking about when you feel that, in medical terms, we call it passive passive suicidality. The term is always like active suicidality, right? Where someone's like possibly going to take action themselves. Passive suicidality, which is a fine line sometimes, where I think a lot of people on some level experience, especially people who are going through chronic illness like you described. I would like to go. I'm not actively trying to depart this world, but I just want to escape and suffering. And God forbid, I think a lot of people, I'm guessing you experience the same, a lot of people in that moment, especially you've been offered an antidepressant, if you voice something like that, then who knows, not just the healthcare practitioners, but your family members, your friends, what are they thinking about now? If I actually say I have those thoughts, it sounds like it is it's a lonely space. It's a lonely space.
Leading up to that very dark space where I was undiagnosed and having those thoughts, which I had never had thoughts like that.
Yeah.
It was such an eye opener. Like, what is my brain doing? That's where things came into question. Why am I thinking like that? Now I'm praying for God to take me because I don't want to be suffering. Like this feeling, this dire feeling. I can't imagine that people that are experiencing, I can't imagine it, severe grief or trauma, like these thoughts must be common. Unfortunately, like how do you get through something like that? These are extremely traumatic events that happen in people's lives.
Yeah.
I've gone through it.
Yeah.
I understand it now. I have deep empathy for people that struggle with mental illness for whatever reasons.
Yeah. And so here you are.
I'm here,
in
still
this,
here.
Exploring this chapter in your life where the world is a better place with Mary Jo here
Oh God.
in many ways.
I hope.
No doubt there's you alluded to people who were like lighthouses for you or supports along the way. You've mentioned to me people you called angels in your life and your experiences in your life journey. And I don't know, my conviction is I think we all on some level have that role, at least at times in our life. And so I think bringing this full circle is we're looking to explore ways for you to be able to be a voice for those who don't have a voice, to be an advocate, to shine a light for other people where they have darkness in this right now. We had decided we're going to just sit in this space about where you were at before and the reality and human experience of that suffering at the beginning. And then we'll kind of a subsequent session get into, okay, hey, did everything just magically get better within 2 months? Not so much. The journey is still a meaningful journey. That'll be next time. But there's a lot of people out there who don't have, you and I both know many people, they don't have a support system like your sister, or like your husband. They don't have the factory setting of resiliency and courage
Or access.
Or access.
I understand. That's one of the lessons that I've learned in all of this is how did I do it? There's a huge part of it that is I was able to put 2 feet on the ground every day. I was able to do that. I was able to show face like I was okay. I showed up in my Instagram community. I showed up in my community, my kids' school. There's a lot of things that kind of kept me going in my community. So I showed that I was okay to some degree as best I could. And I did have support and access so much. This was finding an answer and being sick. Becoming resilient was a full-time job for me. And that's an extreme privilege that I'm really aware of. How do other people do it when they're this sick and they don't have access? They don't have support from family members or friends. Like that a leveled system that is broken.
Yeah.
And I have a guilt about that through this whole journey, which I try not to carry a lot of guilt, but I have an understanding of it. And now on the back end of it again, how can I be a resource for other people, a lighthouse for other people? How can I share my story in order to help someone else? Yeah. I'm excited about that opportunity. And how can I somehow plant seeds in shifting our system, even in the most minimal way? That's where the gold is. That's where change actually happens. I don't have those answers exactly how to do it yet, but speaking the story out loud is maybe the first step.
Yeah, you'll figure out tomorrow. I'll give you 40 years. You're such a positive person. I've not known you nearly as long as a lot of people. Haven't had the opportunity and gift of Mary Jo's giving on so many levels. Although our family's been extremely thankful to you, and just in the last month, I can only imagine you have a lot to give to this world, to humanity, to people, and we'll see where this goes. But I know that you've had looking forward, whatever it looks like for you, in being able to be a voice, a light, an advocate, a connector. I know you've alluded to having certain messages or take-home points for somebody who might be in a dark spot right now for any number of symptoms, diagnoses, reasons, whatever. Care to shed light on that at all?
Yes. I'm excited to share this entire story, the beginning, which we're sharing right now, my onset of symptoms back 7 years ago. We're rewinding. This is the initial part of my story as I fell ill and what that looked like in suffering, in chronic or health crisis. I'm excited that I shared a little bit about it right here, but my take home in all of this that first chapter is that in the first few years that I was sick and becoming sicker, I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong, and I knew my doctors didn't have the answer. And I knew no matter how many times I was going and saying the same thing over and over again, it felt like a dead end road. And luckily I did have access, and someone did plant the seed of functional medicine and that there were other ways of finding out what was going on with me. I wish that I had listened to myself early. Something was wrong, and that hitting my head against this wall over and over again, I wish that it ended sooner. I wish I made a shift sooner. Anyways, the only reason why I share that is that I think we all have an intuition.
Yeah.
We all know. And if we close off a lot of all the noise sometimes and you really listen to what's going on with you in your body, you'll know when something's not right.
Yeah.
And it's going to take resilience. It's going to take persistence. It's going to be able to, you have to speak up. Like those things, you got to listen to this first, your intuition, your heart, maybe say a prayer on top of it, and just be resilient in that if you know something is not wrong and a doctor is not helping you or giving you the answer that you feel good with, or the diagnosis or the treatment, all these things, it doesn't feel right. You got to find a different path.
Yeah.
And I know that's not easy.
Yeah.
You have to find a different path. The first time that I sat in your office was the first time in 3 years, which I felt like I was on my deathbed. It was the first time in 3 years that I'd ever felt like a doctor had truly listened to me, was wanting to help me, and knew what I was talking about. So it's just encouragement that I have for anybody that's listening, anybody that might have symptoms or in any part of their health journey, or keep it in your back pocket for a day that maybe someone you love is experiencing something like that. Like just be resilient and listen to your intuition and seek out the answers that feel right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but that's my encouragement for this first chapter of my.
I'm 100%. It makes a lot of sense to a lot of people. Like what's really meaningful here is in winding down is you've had the courage to be vulnerable, right? That's a huge crack in the screen. It's a hard thing. You experienced that difficulty years ago to be vulnerable, to say, I need help. Then after all this time, it's still difficult to talk about, process, and then talk about, but you've shown that vulnerability. You showed that vulnerability to that couple in the gift shop, but that vulnerability is a gift in of itself. You shared that's what happened in the gift shop by you taking down the walls, they take down the walls. So for me, just reflecting on this conversation, my assumption, or at least hope, is that the vulnerability cracks the screen for other people to be willing to be vulnerable also, just to say, okay, yeah, I do need help, whatever that looks like. And I think that's what a lot of my experiences is on the other side of the coin, when the practitioners are also vulnerable, either to say, I just don't know, I don't know the answer, but I'm going to keep batting for you. I'm going to keep, that happens a lot. Hate it because it's not for ego. Just it's difficult to watch people suffer for me and a lot of colleagues. But
I want to affirm it's a gift.
I think we're in the same boat.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
The gift that you and your practice and Mary and everybody give to people. It's a gift from God. And I appreciate it. It's been a lifeline for me. How you talked about angels earlier.
Yeah.
When we got connected just 4 months ago, it was a very full circle moment. You've been an intricate part in my journey, your practice, Mary, and the fact that now we're sitting here in a full circle moment is a really great gift for me. It's part of now my true healing in what I've gone through, and with the intention and purpose to help other people.
Yeah.
So it has started with you. So thank you.
It's a work together. It's a work together. So thanks for being vulnerable.
Yep, thank you.
And I'm looking forward to whatever ways we can collaboratively and support each other to make the world a better place and reduce suffering, and whatever that means.
We've talked about this before, but I'm hoping to be on again and share the second, the second chapter, which is my true diagnosis and then treatment.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge part of the story, and
Absolutely.
maybe a third chapter if you'll have me too. Maybe
you're being modest.
I won't ask for a fourth chapter.
It's already the plan. That's already the plan. We wanted you need to, this needs to happen, not partly for you, even as much or more so for others. You have that connector magnetic gift where people feel comfortable around you, from my experience, and I can't speak for everybody, obviously, one's 100% right, but like, you have a purpose, you have a calling in this world. I believe that. I believe everybody has that. It's just a matter of how do we fulfill that. So whatever ways that Rootsy can help support that for you, create that space for you, or share in that space with you, be in that space with you, that's what our mission and goal is here. But ultimately our goal is, for me personally, as I've shared with you, after 22 years and I'm 51, I don't know how long I'm going to live, right? I don't know, but how do I help more people get better faster, as many people get better faster as possible? For you, how do I be an advocate? How do I be a connector? How do I tear down walls? How do I help help people move in the right direction. We're on the same page, So looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll wind down here. And as we say to everybody, RootSeek is our virtual practice. We ultimately don't care if we're involved in people's journeys to healing or not. We just want to see people get better. And if we can, if we are or can be of help and service, and we're part of that journey in whatever way, it's a small way, planting a seed, it's a bigger way of watering the ground, or we're out there in the harvest field in the end, and we're helping people and seeing the fruition of all the collective work that the individual, you or other people, other practitioners have worked along the way to get to that point. We're just doing a piece in the puzzle. Yeah. If you, as always, if you're new to functional medicine, like Mary Jo was 5-6 years ago, as many of us as practitioners were years ago, and we usually come to it because we've gone through journeys ourselves and discovered this ourselves the same way you, okay, because we're patients too. Then if it's a new thing for you, hopefully you would find RootSeek to be a safe place for you to explore your journey as well. If you're needing any kind of like second opinions, or looking for just a different angle, we're available and ready and willing to walk that journey with you. So next time.
Till next time.
All right.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mary Jo.
Thank you, everybody.
So fresh, just the way you like it.